In today's video, I'm making lomo saltado, which is a Peruvian dish that consists of stir-fried beef with fries in the dish along with vegetables. Now, the special sauce I'm using, which is ají Verdi, I'm going to show you how to make that sauce as well because it really elevates this dish to another level. I'm going to be using beef strips for stir fry. That's exactly what the package says. And I'm going to season it simply with salt, pepper, steak seasoning, and steak sauce. That's it. Now you can choose to marinate this if you want to for a couple of hours or in the fridge overnight if you prefer. However, I just marinated this for about an hour and a half on the countertop as is. And then I went on ahead and I fried it in a skillet with some oil. Now my oil was way too hot because it started popping all over my arm. So I'm going to drop a few pieces down and turn off my camera. But here it is. You know how to add some steak to some oil, right? So now let's make the ají verde, which is the green sauce. We need a handful of cilantro. We're going to also add some peppers. Use the peppers of your spice tolerance. These are serrano peppers. I'm just going to remove the rib or the seeds from one, and then I'll use the seeds from the other. That's about how much we can tolerate in my family, okay? Again, use the spice level that you can tolerate. That's up to you. I'm adding lime juice. I'm going to use a whole lime for that. Then I'm going to add some garlic. This is some garlic that I crushed up in my mortar and pestle. You can use minced garlic. You can just chop it up if you want to, your choice. Then we need to add some mayo, okay? Now, the mayo amount that you'll need will depend on how much you're making. I use about maybe 3 scoops of the mayo in this particular recipe, but you'll decide that based on your family size, okay? Then after that, we're going to add some salt, along with some Parmesan cheese. Okay. And that too depends on how much you want. And then give it a good mix in your blender. Now that the peppers and the green cilantro is all mixed together, we have this green, beautiful sauce, hence the name ají verde. Verde means green in Spanish, okay? And this is the consistency I want because it is going to firm up a bit. I'm going to place this in the fridge until I'm ready to use it. Now let's get back to our beef. We're going to go ahead and add our vegetables. I just have tomatoes, some pickled red onions, some peppers, green and red, and some garlic, okay? Now let's add this into the beef, and we just want to stir this in gently because we don't want to break up those tomatoes in the dish, okay? Now we're going to give our vegetables some time to soften up and marry with that beef. In the meantime, let's go ahead and make the sauce that we're going to use for this recipe. Now this sauce is not authentic, okay? Although I learned this recipe from a Peruvian. We were roommates for a few years back in the day. This I sort of kind of freestyle with it because I prefer a thick sauce versus a thin one. So I did use some soy sauce. I'm going to use this Peruvian pepper, which is a hot pepper paste, along with some garlic and cornstarch. The cornstarch is going to thicken up my sauce, and that's the difference. I don't think that the Peruvian recipe originally includes cornstarch. So that's something that I'm adding personally on my own as a preference, okay? Now, you're going to go ahead and add a little bit of water, about a 1/4 cup or so, into your beef before adding this cornstarch mixture. All right. And as you can see, it's going to give it a beautiful brown color, and it's also going to thicken up. Now, because I like to overcook all of my beef, yes, I do, I'm going to place this in the oven. That's right. I'm going to place this in the oven. Covered with foil on 375 for about 20 minutes or so. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and fry my French fries. Now, these are homemade. If you have some that's frozen, that's perfectly fine. And if you don't know how to make homemade fries, here's a quick tip. Go ahead and slice some potatoes, boil them in salt and water just until they're softened, and drain them and dry them, okay? Then you can go ahead and add them to some hot oil. That's it. Simple. Now, because the French fries are in this dish with all that sauce, you want your French fries to be crispy, okay? Now it's time to take the beef out the oven, remove the foil, and we're going to go ahead and top our rice, which I didn't mention before. You want to pair this dish with some rice, and I just added some avocado on the side just because I needed that extra garnish. And I'm going to also eat it too, so it's not just a garnish. But we need to top our rice with the fries. Now, this is also not authentic. Peruvians, they just mix the fries into the beef, but I like to have a little bit of that crunch left. So I just top my rice with the fries. Then I top the fries with the beef, and I drain the beef with the slotted spoon or a drainer spoon. And I'm going to drizzle the sauce around the rice itself, okay? Because we still have more sauce to put on top, our ají verde sauce. Now this part is extra. I just had some leftover tomato slices that I didn't put into the dish, and I'm going to add it here on the plate, almost like a garnish. And now, like I promised you, that sauce is going to go on the rice itself, because who doesn't love a good gravy on top of some rice, okay? So drizzle that sauce on the rice, and then we're going to go in for the grand finale with our green sauce, or the ají verde. All right, and I'm going to drizzle that on top of the steak. Now, doesn't that look phenomenal? Let me tell you something. This dish is so complex with the flavors, because you have flavors at every level. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you make the recipe, comment down below and let me know how it turns out for you. Bye.